Hello, YouTube.com. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. And I got Ghost Bibble with me. And
It can only mean one thing.
Exclusive.
Constipation.
Oh, constipation.
Sorry, I ate peanuts. So
really, that constipates
peanuts,
you?
not peanut.
Now we know
say that too fast. You say that too fast, it just, it's a whole different context. Isn't
Penis could constipate you. And also, Mr. Spreezy. Chris, how's it going, dude?
Yeah, good, mate.
Yeah.
Good to be on.
Today we have a members only day. So get your members only jackets on. And if you want to communicate and you're a Patreon supporter, send me a message on Patreon right now, and I'll pull that up and we'll use it on the show until we find a better way to do this. You know, right now that is the best way. And today we have an exclusive article on the old MakingStarWars.net, and Santa is literally telling you guys, who can see everything you do, watches you at all times. It's pretty weird, honestly, but says it deploy the likes because it deserves it. And I appreciate that, Santa. And Hamilton has read the article and he says there's some fire in this article. So, you know, what are you gonna do, right? If Hamilton says it, it must be true. All right, so this is the article today. This is, oh yeah, and there's gonna be some spoilers here. If you don't like spoilers, probably turn the video off. And if you do like them, then I think you're going to like this video. So yeah, like the video and all that jazz, and become a channel member.
Watch through to the end, and watch through to the end.
Watch through to the end. Yeah.
Even if you don't watch it, just leave it on, because that's how YouTube shares the site with the rest of YouTube. Just let
yeah. Let's like farm it. You know, let's make it like a farm. I'm making Star Wars farm on YouTube. Okay, so today's article is called Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the Straggler. And if you could find the typo, you win a prize. I'm kidding, you don't win shit, but you will find a typo. So tensions between Star Wars' favorite uncle and our hero have never been worse. Uncle Owen is seething about Obi-Wan Kenobi's proximity to his nephew, Luke Skywalker. Kenobi is hated for doing his job. His life is hard, but in some ways, his position as defender of Luke Skywalker is even harder. In many ways, none of this is even Kenobi's fault. Poor guy. I wrote poor guy because I felt bad for him. Why is the Grand Inquisitor on Tatooine with his disciples? So the assumption is the Inquisitors are hunting Obi-Wan Kenobi. Over the last year, my sources have informed me that this assumption is incorrect. Kenobi is a pro at sneaking around and not being caught. These chatterheads could never find Kenobi if he was trying not to be found. Obi-Wan has spent a decade of his life after Order 66 keeping his head down. Every move Kenobi makes is calculated and the risks are weighed. Kenobi does not make a move that will draw any attention to himself and endanger Luke Skywalker. Now here's the meat. However, their safety is shattered when a young Jedi straggler named Nari, spelling is my assumption, finds his way to Tatooine. Inspired by Obi-Wan Kenobi's message from the Jedi Beacon, he has been on a decade-long quest of his own. He wants to find Obi-Wan Kenobi, achieve refuge, and restore the Jedi Order. So this Nari guy, he's got some ideas. And he's been out there. I mean, clearly based off of his age, you know, he's a young Jedi. Tells me that he's probably a Padawan. Order 66 happens, and he is thrust into the world on, you know, a quest for survival, but he's idealistic. So Obi-Wan has this message, and this message, we've heard it in Rebels, we've heard it around in other things, but the message reads as follows, if you need a reminder. This is Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. I regret to report that both our Jedi Order and the Republic have fallen, with the dark shadow of the Empire rising to take their place. This message is a warning and a reminder for any surviving Jedi. Trust in the Force. Do not return to the temple. That time has passed, and our future is uncertain. Avoid Coruscant. Avoid detection. Be secret, but be strong. We will each be challenged, our trust, our faith, our friendship. but we must persevere. And in time, I believe a new hope will emerge. May the Force be with you always. So this is what Nari has been carrying around with him for all these years. And he's begun to idolize Obi-Wan Kenobi and thinks that when he finds him, that's when they're going to reunite and they're going to start kicking ass again, I guess. So, but what Nari does not know is Obi-Wan has a secret mission bigger than anything Nari could dream of. Obi-Wan does not want to be found. Nari is jeopardizing Kenobi's mission, and he does not even realize it. So, a presence I haven't felt since. The Grand Inquisitor.
Stupid little know-it-all. Fucking overachiever, everything.
Yeah, little super sleuth finding Kenobi. The Grand Inquisitor, Reva, the third sister, and the fifth brother have tracked Nari to Tatooine. There is some implication they are aware of Nari's quest to reunite with Kenobi and restore the Jedi Order. So, and that there's implication here. I'm not saying that's exactly what it is, but I believe that's likely that they are aware of the plan. And I also kind of, something that I didn't include in here is that they seem to be a little bit dismissive of him. And I'm also going to throw out there that there may be a connection between Reva and Nari. They may actually be siblings, and that's sort of what I'm throwing on the show today. I don't know this for certain. It has been inferred to me before. It has been an assumption made by some people behind the scenes who don't know. So, take that as you will. Reva senses Obi-Wan Kenobi. The Grand Inquisitor berates her for thinking she could ever track Kenobi when he himself cannot. This enrages Reva as they interrogate the life forms of Tatooine about the young Jedi. Her patience is thin, and she's maiming people who do not comply with her investigation. Uncle Owen, Luke and Beru are down the street, doing Luke and Beru stuffs. And Uncle Owen goes around this corner, and he observes the brutality of these interrogations firsthand. And he thinks Kenobi is making things worse for Luke Skywalker, and he needs to get the kid home to their farm before he is discovered. So you could really see how where Uncle Owen's coming from on this. He just sees these Jedi hunters there. Kenobi's the Jedi he knows is there. I mean, he does the basic math. Occam's razors that shit, and he's like, Kenobi is a problem. So So then after they go to
Jason.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know if you're aware, but Filoni just called. He said it's it's actually called Occam's Razor Crest. So,
Occam's Razor Crest. Okay. Occam's Razor Crest. That will be our new term for the show. If anybody ever knows. Yeah. Thank you, Filoni. By the way, wear longer shorts. Your balls are hanging out the side of your shorts, and it's disgusting. Anyways, when so if you read yesterday's article or the article from a few days ago, when Kenobi tries to make contact with Luke to give him a gift, Owen is furious. So check out that article and that video if you want to know more about the little gift that Kenobi tries to give him and why Owen is so fucking pissed off when this tries to happen. When you've just seen somebody's hands be cut off and you're like, hey, I brought you out some toys. He's like, get out of here, you jackass. So my little bit of analysis here is this is a good story opportunity because Nari's presence on Tatooine is rather smart. This straggler creates a situation where Kenobi remaining on Tatooine is actually putting young Skywalker at risk. Leaving for a time is a better option. Reva senses both Nari and Kenobi, although her compatriots do not. So Nari is incidentally acting as cover for both Luke and Obi-Wan. Nari has no idea that is the case or even what he is walking into. So when Bail Organa appears in Obi-Wan Kenobi's cave and asks him to leave Tatooine on a mission to save the 10-year-old Princess Leia, Kenobi realizes this is an advantage. Me getting away from Luke is a good idea. By leaving the world, he is protecting young Skywalker. Leia is as important as Luke. And it will put the Jedi Hunters off, it will pull the Jedi Hunters off world. And the advantage of leaving far outweighs the risk of staying. So if you're one of those cats who is always like, "Oh, Luke just left him," no, this is why it's smart. And then I say, come join us on the Making Star Wars show to discuss your thoughts and opinions on today's show. We're usually live at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and always read MakingStarWars.net. And I appreciate the support. So yeah, did that make sense to you guys? Did I lose anybody here with this one?
It sounds Nari sounds like an interesting character that's going to bring a new element to the show, and if he survives, Order 66, it could be anywhere between 17 years old or 22, depends on where how they go with the character, but it brings an interesting presence to the show that I wasn't expecting, but I'm glad that it's happening, and it'll be interesting to see where the character goes from here.
Yeah, it definitely well, for starters too, his age, I don't know how old he is. I was just told he's a young Jedi. And the other question I have is who is playing this character, And when I heard the implications that he was maybe a sibling with Reva, who's dark skinned, it could be O'Shea Jackson. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, throwing that out there. And Nolan became a channel member. Thank you, Nolan. I appreciate you becoming a channel member, and the becoming a member is super appreciated. Thank you so much. And so we end up with this character though, because remember, like, Obi-Wan is a Padawan though until he's like, isn't like 27? Like he's like the guy who won't leave college, right? He's like,
I keep getting better, and all them Padawans stay the same age. Hey.
Yeah. It's like, I'm the most powerful Padawan of all time, because I am.
Let's talk about attachment.
They're all Filoni. You got to stop writing Kenobi like this. We're taking it from you. We're not going to let you do this one. We're sorry.
George wanted me to do it though. Do it.
But when I think of a young Padawan, I think of like a 13-year-old, 14-year-old.
Same. I think of like between probably the ages of a small child to maybe 18. So we have 10 years. So I would say we could put him anywhere from early 20s to maybe almost 30 years old in terms of casting. Yeah. I think it's possible. But I think in the Disney era of Star Wars, they've definitely moved into a Padawan as a teenager, and once you can drive a car, you should be a Jedi. That seems to be a kind of how it plays, Yeah. So and I'm curious because I'm curious if this is O'Shea Jackson. I tried to hammer that down today. And last night I was making the rounds, trying to do it. And on the O'Shea Jackson part, they're pretty tight-lipped about him. And I don't know if people know all that I know. And so anyways, but everyone can look at the cast list and try to figure out who's Bria, who's Nari. We know Reva, and we know the Grand Inquisitor. So we know Rupert Friend. Is it Friend or Friend? Whatever. We know that he's the Grand Inquisitor. We know that I can't remember his name. Is Sun King is the fifth brother, and and then we have some idea of the role of the contact, the comedian. I can't remember his name right now either. I'm sorry. After I read an article and I got up early and did all my dad stuff for the day, my brain's fried. And I'm gonna lose my name recall for actors that because I've never been an actor person. I don't really usually care that much. I only kind of start to caring like, what do they look like? Like, what might the character look like? But
How confident are you at that Nari and Reva siblings?
I'm not
confident. Are you?
I'm not confident. I had a source offhandedly make that connotation and then be like I don't really know that. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Yeah. And I was like, no, I was like noted though. You know what I mean? That connective tissue. They may have reason to think it, but they were basically telling me don't throw that out don't throw your name out on the line for that. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But you know, there could be all of this connective tissue. And the other thing always to remember too is these Inquisitors, they were all in the Jedi Temple with Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was at the time, you know, one of the rock stars of the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of the most known Jedi in that temple, one of the most prolific and powerful of them. And so,
well respected.
Yeah,
because he had the space lizard hookup, bro. Anakin, you know. Not
They
a lot
are
to do there in that Jedi temple.
They are kind of rock and roll when you get down to it. I mean, Anakin's out there banging models in secret, essentially, and stuff. You know, it kind of does. It kind of does. You know, go into a little bit of we're not Jedi librarians.
Want some lizard sticks? I think you do. Think you want some lizard sticks?
yeah, and as far as I know, this Nari is a new character and not old Kanan Jarrus. Not sure if we hear anything of Kanan Jarrus in this one. Well, also just for the record, I haven't heard anything about that. Just I know you weren't implying it, but you know, it would have been cool if it was. But I also think that it, in terms of where this is going, this character, him being Nari being a new character, opens up just a lot more potential for the series, and they're not written into so many corners of what they can do with it. You know,
yeah.
Thomas Harris can't wait, and I'm the same. Like, the more I had heard about the show over the last year, like, I'm convinced that this is the show of the year. I have high for Cassian. I have high for Ahsoka. But I think that Kenobi is, at least for me, where my fandom lies. I've always been kind of like strangely more of a prequel person, more of a prequel guy. You know, I was like 18 or something when those started. So I'm not exactly, like the most grown up person at 18. And
That's
so it's
true.
like, I kind of felt like a little bit of a kid in a way, but also not really. But I enjoyed them.
You were just enough.
immensely.
You were at the age where you could finally buy whatever fucking toy you wanted when this shit came
Yeah.
out. You know, you didn't have to ask nobody for nothing.
Oh, I had that
You could
boost.
get a
I had the
credit
Queen
card.
Starship. I had the Nubian. That's why today,
Nice.
you guys are getting your Razor Crest. I'm like, hey, I had a Nubian. You know, what do you want?
You had that 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a Nubian? Shut the fuck up.
That was pretty good. Yes, and welcome Nolan Ryan. Thank you for becoming a channel member once again, dude. And what do we got? Justin says it sounds like they put a lot of thought into the premise that will actually play out in the first act of the show. At times, the other shows seem to be like, trust us, the ending episode will be great, right? That I think you're pointing out something really, really important there. Yeah. Is that like the anxieties and the why should this show even exist? How could this show even exist? Kind of questions appear to be answered really early on. Now, but for just full disclosure here, because I don't want to mislead anybody, I'm not sure exactly when all of this happens. I don't, you know what I mean? Because I don't know every aspect of the show, so I'm not sure if this is like the middle or whatever. But I know it's not the beginning because Kenobi hasn't left yet. So, I try to take what I know and slice it into, well, what could be an episode, And it's like, there's like stuff that's really hard to understand. Like when Kenobi goes to save Leia, you could see that whole action sequence being a whole episode, but I don't think it is. So I don't really know, like, it's my emphasis becomes the problem here. I know that he sneaks into a spice den and roughs everybody up and steals the kid out, and the kid doesn't realize that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. She just thinks it's some weirdo who's saving her. And for all I know, that's a whole episode. For all I know, it's 5 minutes. Like, you just don't know when it comes to, and when you hear about, oh yeah, we did this, and this one shot was so rad that we did, and it might be 0.5 0.5 second shot in the edit, whereas when I hear it, it's a whole spoiler report. So I always want to be clear about that.
And you got to remember, you got to remember that each episode is somewhere between 40 minutes and 45 minutes, so that we got to spread it out as much as possible. So it's just wait and see. That's all we can do.
Yeah, like because I've been told that they filmed a lot of B-roll, if you will, of Kenobi just out there in the wilderness, like it's hot out here, he's doing he's surviving and doing what he has to like do. I've made it very clear, I think, throughout the last couple of weeks that Kenobi doesn't have an Alderaan credit card, a black card from Alderaan, where he's just charging it and walking away eating some Eopi tacos or whatever they eat on Tatooine. He's not doing that. He actually like has to live in a cave and survive.
Do you think we'll see him hunting for food and all that jazz?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting that
yeah,
impression
yeah.
too.
He I think he even like part of his witness protection program that he's put himself into is having a little gig, but more on that later. Not that big of a deal though. But and then Nolan Ryan says
bun that tastes like Gundarks. Don't ask me how I ate a Gundark. At one time I ate a whole Gundark. I fucking threw up Gundark all over the place.
I want him to go to eat a piece and go, smells like Qui-Gon's piss.
And then Anakin, who was like 10 at the time, he said, "Oh, gun barf." And I was like, one day I'm going to throw you in a vat of lava, you little bitch. Cut your dick off. You'll see. Have a vision about it.
So Nolan says, sorry I didn't do it sooner. I listened while I drive for work, but I jumped on my laptop to make it happen. Appreciate everything you do for the community. Thanks, Nolan. And if you would like the RSS feed for the show, since you listen on your drive a lot, let me know. Just send me a private message and I will send you that, because I want people to have, I try to make it where people have the benefits of both sides of Patreon or this, and just doing my best to make it happen. Also, yesterday, one thing that occurred to me just now, I was approved for memberships on Twitter, and which would allow me to do like Twitter chats and all that kind of stuff. But but the only reason why I'm saying it is if one of you prefers to become a member on Twitter, I believe you can go to my Twitter profile and become a member through there as well. I still think probably the best way is to become a member though on YouTube if you want to be part of the live chat. And if you don't want to become part of the live chat and you just want to support the site and the show, then Patreon is the other way. And for Patreon, by the way, you can go to the bottom of MakingStarWars.net. There's a bunch of articles with all my socials. The Patreon link there, it's there, and that works. You can click that to go over if that's easier. But yeah, wait, existing comedian Bill Burr, the blue guy, Mithril. Wait, oh, did I miss something? I'm not sure what's going on here, Dale. You'll have to get me caught up. I'm an old boomer. I'm confused. Does Nari join Kenobi in his travels to rescue Leia? That is a good question, and I am just going to leave it at no. No, he does not. And I'm still sussing out a few little things about it, so we'll have to see. Yeah. Well, definitely. O'Shea mentioned in an interview he worked with Ewan and Kamal. So, okay, to the best of my knowledge, Nari and Kamal's character, I do not think they interact. So that may be ruling out O'Shea Jackson right there. But also, if anybody has that interview, I would love to like see it because I haven't seen that. And always good to know firsthand, what's being said. It's funny because when I heard about it at first, I had low expectations. After hearing your info, I'm very excited. Same. I mean, I didn't have low expectations because I knew that Ewan McGregor was coming back, and so I I've heard 2 stories from behind the scenes about Ewan McGregor from 2 sources who I both trust, who said the exact opposite things. But I think when you put the opposite things together, you see where he was coming from. The first was Ewan wanted to come back since the moment that they were starting to make Star Wars again. He wanted another chance to be involved, and his Star Wars had got a bad reputation, and he didn't necessarily think it was deserved. But there was times when he was like, "I think we could have done some things better," but it was out of his control. He wanted another shot. But the other side of it was Ewan wasn't going to come back unless he had a little bit of input, and unless he could ensure it was going to be good, because he wasn't going to come back for Book of Boba Fett. He wasn't going to come back to a Book of Boba Fett kind of show.
Look, I've thought about this. I don't like the series, but it gave us space lizards. And I know I've been harping on these space lizards lately, but it's so fucking great. Like, I think that might be the best addition to Star Wars since The Force. Yeah. Like, they literally, they take lizards, they go under your nose, and you get to see fucking crazy shit. And that's canon. Like,
I mean,
do not underestimate.
There is a very good chance that right now on Tatooine, our friend Boba is becoming the Joe Rogan of that thing. He's like licking the toads and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? He's doing all that.
He's asleep in a deprivation chamber. He's halfway there.
I'm
pretty Boba Fett starts a podcast right after, right? It's called, With Respect, right? Like podcasting with respect.
My TV magically just turned on and went to the news, so I am haunted. Let me go turn that off. But continue to talk about space lizards for 1 second.
Yeah. I got so it's funny, man. Like I got a whole bunch of like Phantom Menace stuff to go over, because every time the craziness in the world erupts, I keep thinking about the setup for the Phantom Menace and how it could have just been better. Like I like the idea of invasion. I like all these cool things, but like,
I'm looking at your background now, and it makes sense today, especially today.
Yeah.
But that was a good march, that one.
Yeah. But what do we got here? We got stuff. Yeah. There's Jason.
I'm back.
He's back.
Yeah, that was definitely strange. That was weird. Yeah. The TV in this room just turned itself on.
We called it Jason Ward, then he's in control. Too hot to handle, too cold to hold.
You called the Ghostbusters and they're in control. Yeah, that's right.
Jason Wards. We called it Jason
Wards. I thought it was the Ghostbusters. Sorry. I'm pretty sure Bobby Brown either writes songs about me or the Ghostbusters. That's all I really know. Justin says it segs into the 3rd or 4th episodes, which will be Jar Jar and Dexter Jettster focused. Yeah, wouldn't it be cool if Dexter came back? I mean, I would love for Dexter to come back, because like there's these, like, when we meet Dex, he's this like diner owner, and he's just like, oh yeah, and they imply this past, and then he owns this diner, right? But it's kind of a weird trope in a way, because you almost feel like he's gonna get involved, but then he just doesn't.
He just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, they just don't really do anything with him, and he's just kind of okay. So Obi-Wan has contacts. They just made the contact interesting, I guess. But it's hard to imagine.
Yeah, I really like having people model and rig things and set them all up, and then I don't do shit. They just sit there and they serve chili.
I think George Lucas noticed that maybe they were referencing a certain gullet with them, and he was like, "Wait a minute, they're making fun of me." No,
it was going to be called Bar Gullet, but Boar Gullet.
Because they said that was boring.
It's an inside joke. Yeah, it's an inside joke.
Yeah. But I always imagined in my head that Dex wouldn't continue to run a diner once imperialism comes to Coruscant, and that he would be, like most characters, thrust back into the underworld in some way.
Jason, even Nazis gotta eat. Yeah. Okay. Nazis like chili. Chili ain't selling itself.
Mark Hamilton says, do you know of any cool Easter egg type cameos, not plot important, that'll make peeps squeal like Max Rebo was in Book of Boba Fett? You know what? I haven't heard of anything like that yet, to be honest with you. Have not heard about any cameos or anything like that. and I'm not saying that this is not the case or that there won't be some or that there's not some, but to the best of my knowledge, they've just been super like on point about this one. Like this is the one they're not doing like silly stuff. Yeah. That's been my impression. But after asking that, maybe someone will inform me that, oh yeah, you know, I don't know.
I mean, it's got Luke, Leia, Owen, Beru. You know what I mean? It's got fucking Jedis and shit. Apparently, it's got sisters and brother. I mean,
yeah.
I'm just saying, it's got a lot of stuff in there. You know, like I get everyone's on a Spider-Man high. You know, I get it. In the Marvel universe, there's tons of characters, but in Star Wars, there really aren't a lot of like. You got a cameo with the Black Chrysanthemum, but they don't fucking do nothing with it. What's the point, right? So like, I'd rather they just do shit with what they got than start shoving in.
Oh, Dell says, I don't know. He says something about a comedian. I meant Nanjiani is who I was talking about.
Unless it's Dash Rendar being played by Matt Berry. That's what I want more than anything in the world. I want that. I want Matt Berry to voice Nari. How's that? Think about that.
CGI character.
Well, Russian bots. We're trying to take over today, but Star Wars Santa defeated him because I didn't see it. I didn't see any of those Russian bots. So, good job. Good job, Clone Warrior.
Happy invasion.
Yeah. That's such a bummer.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's like whenever I see, I'm not gonna get into it, but like when I see fucking people,
I don't care.
Some dude, some asshole baseball owner bought his daughter a fucking like tank. You know what I mean? Like a one person little fucking mini like Metal Slug looking tank, right? And I fucking like I just look at it. I'm like, it's all funny to you people. You know what I mean? It's all funny. Fucking, I want to be a little soldier. I want to own a fucking tank. You don't know what it's like to be stuck out there for a fucking month in the freezing fucking weather. You know what I mean? You got to dig a hole, living in a fucking death trap. You know what I mean? Pissing in bottles and shit. You know, like surviving on black coffee, hoping you don't lose, let alone your own life. You don't kill your friend accidentally. You know, like and I didn't even go to war. It's just training. Like we trained for war. So it's like I was out there in Eastern Europe just fucking freezing my ass off for 3 years. And these motherfuckers buy tanks because it's funny to them. You know, oh, it's cool, man. Who's one on a tank? Fucking dicks. You know, these fucking tanks murder. And then I got to turn on Twitter. Periscope's gone. God rest its soul. Fucking, this is what Periscope was for, folks. You know, it's just fucking sucks. Because when this shit in the world goes down, Periscope was a place where I could immediately click in and people would be streaming live from anywhere. Like when the Ferguson fucking riots went down, I was able to get footage live from 3 points of view, across the street, across the line, over here, you know, and like, so I got to turn on fucking Twitter and see people's, you know, videos. And then it's like, you know, someone looks at their apartment, there's fucking tanks rolling down the street, you know, and it's like, and then, you know, I just reminded that time when Brian Williams was on CNN going, the weapons of war are beautiful and glorious. You fucking dicks. I hate war, man. I hate it. It's not Call of Duty. It's not. I like Star Wars. I don't like real war, man. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah. No. There's kids that are huddled in train cars underground in the subway in the dark, so they don't get blown up right now. And then there's people going like, "Oh, Putin's a good guy. Putin is a hero. Has he ever tried to oppress you?" And shit like that. And I'm just like, no, fuck Putin, the fucking bitch. He's like endangering children. Fuck that guy. You know what I mean? For pride.
Man, I get best. People want to watch the show and escape reality and shit, but it's like it's tough because it's like, what do I do? Make a joke about it? And you know, like I don't know. You know, like it's just it's days like this. I really think about the setup for the Phantom Menace. You know, and I think like, man, he had such an opportunity to go way further than just the blockade. Like it really could have been like, and I thought about this for years, guys, and I'm gonna do a little fanfic, but just bear with me, right? And I'll shut up for the rest of the show. But like the Nemodians could have been like one of the oldest races, the opposite of the Yoda races, right? So like the Yoda races are all about living peacefully with nature, and the Nemodians could have been like that concept art. They're all about owning shit and gold and like the Anunnaki fucking like, and there's not much of them left. You know, they're at the very end of their fucking asses. You know, and so like they want to start a war, but they need resources, so they fucking invade a planet. Naboo could have looked different because it was like the last holdout from like the more civilized age of the old Republic, you know? Everyone's all fucking like pre-World War I, right? Like how everyone was all Downton Abbey'd and fucking like noble and shit, and then World War I and II happened. You know, the old Republic the Republic happens, and they're like, shit's all fucking broken. And like instead of making Padme the queen of her people, she could have been like a senator, and like Palpatine could have been like her Obi-Wan senator, right? And you could have seen this like parallel between her and Palpatine and Obi-Wan and Yoda or Qui-Gon, if you want to have that, whatever. And like he just manipulates her to becoming the Chancellor so she can fucking unleash the Jedi, because the Jedi, you know, can't. The Chancellor is the guy that fucking, like in typical samurai, the Jedi served the Emperor. So if the Jedi served the Republic, it could have been like the Chancellor's the guy, but the current Chancellor's like, or the Emperor, whatever you want to call it, ain't starting a fucking war, you know? So it's like they could have got manipulated into war. And then like throughout the 3 films, Naboo gets fucked up, destroyed, like the Shire and the Lord of the Rings kind of shit, fucking totaled. So when
Nerd.
when Padme,
Nerd
so
alert.
when Padme fucking, you know, goes away to Alderaan, whatever, with Bail or shit, like fucking Alderaan doesn't have weapons for a reason. Like they learned their fucking lesson. You know what I mean? Like it's, she has all the answers in this fucking trilogy. And she should have made mistakes and learned from how like nothing good comes from this.
What if,
you know, like
what if Naboo sold their weapons to GameStop?
Yeah, well, then look, hey man, look, that, you know, you got to get your games somewhere, bro. What are you gonna do? Got your Star Wars games. You know?
Rob, I'm gonna take this moment after this rant that you've given to read a piece of fan mail that came in from you.
Okay.
It's from your number one fan, James.
Me. Oh, okay.
But it's addressed to me, but it's for you, Jason. This may be a bit long, so if you don't want to bring it up on the show and just forward it to Rob, that's cool. I truly enjoy our passive-aggressive relationship and hope it continues. Smiley face. Well, here we go. I don't know if indulging Rob is making things better or worse, but being the kind and generous person that I am.
I'll let you finish. I just had to add that.
Hey, this is my wife. I feel obliged to at least make the effort to help. On yesterday's show, Rob referred to me as a jazz geek. I'm not sure if Rob is aware, but mislabeling me is a microaggression. I'm sure this is a minor oversight by Rob, as I know his heart is in the right place. But someone that isn't as compassionate, understanding as I am, could take offense to someone not using their preferred adjectives. I have attached a Venn diagram, and that is up on the screen now, to better explain these adjectives, and hopefully this tool will help in proper labeling myself and others. Look at the diagram. It is clear to see I am, in fact, not a geek. While I do appreciate the fact that Rob
only a real geek would go out of his way to create a diagram and let you know how he's not.
We haven't studied it yet, so we don't know. We have to live and die by the diagram.
No jock and I seen Revenge of the Nerds. I know a thing or two here about geeks and jocks and shit, right?
Yeah.
All I know is fucking Ted McGinley's wasn't making diagrams. All right, that's all I'm saying.
In fact, Rob actually falls a little closer being a geek, since he does fall into the obsessed portion of the diagram. However, I feel that Rob is also emotionally unstable, so that could throw him into the mad scientist category.
That's not a microaggression.
To further drive the point home,
macroaggression, really.
To further drive the point home, Rob mislabeled me for referencing the timeless classic Faust. Meanwhile, Rob brought up Ironhawk, a reference so esoteric that I had to Google it to confirm it wasn't
Iron
a Rob fever
Iron
dream.
Wolf, you fucking moron. You know, like is that microaggressive enough for it? It's a fucking great comic book drawn by Mike Mignola, but what do you know?
Google quickly shot back and offered several other suggestions, assuming that I had just misspelled something. It's as if
Iron
Google
Eagle.
were saying, surely you can't be looking for some obscure 80s comic book that no one remembers. Your search
Operation
history
Wolf.
algorithm doesn't have to have you marked as an uber dork. Have you, why are you searching for this sad little footnote in comic history? On a musical note, I don't even know where to start. Calling me a jazz musician is the equivalent of me calling Rob a master in the artistic style of hyperrealism. It's quite the compliment. But again,
That's
being
a micro.
the
You
humble,
say it, I draw like a cartoony nitwit, you know?
Oh, he's gone.
we got too hot for TV. All right, let me throw everybody back on real quick because it was the diagram. Okay, here we go. All right. But again, being the humble man that I am, I think the more appropriate adjective to describe my musical abilities would be no talent ass clown. In summary, I would kindly ask that going forward, Rob referred to me as that no talent ass clown psychopath. I hope we can all learn and grow from this teachable moment. As always, thanks for the great show.
That. The shortened version of that is Jazz Guy. Like that,
Jazz Guy.
Like, yeah,
Jazz Guy.
It encompasses all those things you just said. It's just more efficient.
Right. It's kind of. I think I might be like maybe the king of all of this. I feel like I'm all of these put together. Sometimes I'm socially inept. Sometimes I'm really good socially. It makes no sense. Sometimes I'm very emotionally. Yeah, I'm just unstable. At the end of the day, I'm just unstable, I think. But yeah. But anyways, I hope we've all grown together as a community thanks to that. I just wanted to. I was saving.
All I know is I'm gonna put on the soundtrack to La La Land when we're done and think of James. It's happening.
Ewan asked if I know the casting for Nari. No, I don't. I'm not actually sure who is playing Nari. And with some of O'Shea Jackson's character stuff being secret and still not known to me, I thought perhaps it could be O'Shea Jackson for a while. But someone in chat just said there's evidence to say otherwise based off of what I know. I've been told that those characters aren't part of the same situation. So that would and I guess we could speculate a little bit of wait, James says you got to gather a cluster of data on the chart. So one last look at the chart for James.
We gotta play this game again.
Flock of Seagulls is his favorite jazz band. But yeah, but anyways, most likely, just based off of how this stuff goes and what we know, it would put O'Shea Jackson character into kind of almost two positions. He would either be an ally of Nanjiani's character, which would make him a contact of Kenobi. So that would make him an ally of Kenobi. But we also do have a bunch of kidnapping pirates in a spice den who have stolen Leia, and he saves her. So I mean, he could be a bad guy in that place. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking he's more important than that. But you never know, because people will take roles in Star Wars that aren't necessarily the most big roles, or, you know, it's a waste of his talent. Well, we've seen that in Star Wars a lot, haven't we? Very talented people in literally throwaway roles. It's happened. I hope that's not the case here, but
a little bit.
The timing, Ewan says, the timing of the Reva looking for Kenobi on Tatooine at the same time as the Inquisitors springing another trap for him with Leia seems odd. Yeah, well, that's where I'm talking a little bit about the implications here. Are that they spring the trap knowing that Nari is looking for Kenobi, and when they get there and all of the first of the Nari stuff goes down, and then Kenobi is leaving the world, maybe that's when they know now it's time to maybe Nari not bringing them to Kenobi at that moment is when they decide, okay, maybe plan B is Leia. This is speculation. This is completely speculation on my
Yeah.
part, because I have all these disparate pieces of the picture, and I'm trying to connect the dots to some degree. And but I do think that's kind of how this. I do think that's how this likely unfolds. And if it doesn't, I think you'll see that the major beats are so on, and that it, like, I hope you're not mad at me, but the major beats are definitely correct, and I'm pretty sure though that's how these pieces fit together. Because you'll ask somebody who filmed the fucking show, or was on the crew for what I mean, like a year or whatever, and they'll be like, yeah, and you're like, okay, so is that how it fits? You know what I mean? Because they didn't make this thing in order. Like, they didn't just sit there and like watch a movie. They just kind of like did these little blocks, and they understand it. But it's also like, oh geez, they're not sitting there thinking, what is O'Shea Jackson's character's motivation in this scene? That's for O'Shea to do, and there to make it look good. So it's a little bit of like, sometimes you would be surprised. Unless something's wrong, something's off, then that's when they're just like, what the fuck are we doing? They kind of get that from them sometimes. I did not get that on this show, thankfully. So Nolan says, is there a confrontation between Kenobi and the Inquisitors prior to the Leia rescue, or does Kenobi not use his lightsaber until after the rescue? So yeah, full disclosure here, I have not heard of any evidence of Kenobi using his lightsaber in these moments. And in fact, I'm going to say, I'm not saying he doesn't use his lightsaber, so don't. But he may not actually use his lightsaber until it comes down to a lightsaber fight. And the only one I know for sure that actually happens is the Darth Vader one at this point. It's the only one I'm willing to go and say I know that, because we know that happens. That's not even my story. We know that happens officially. And but I also have a very hard time imagining you're going to give these 3 Inquisitors spinny, cool fucking lightsabers and shit, and they're not going to fight Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, that would be really, really an insane missed opportunity. But
Fabuloso, I think.
But
we should consider this. Don't give them what they want. Give them what Give them
what
they
they need.
want.
What they need. Yeah.
That's what they want. What they don't want. They don't know it. That's what they do.
But I also
toys, right?
I can't rule out. I can't confirm, but I also cannot rule out a lightsaber fight between Nari and the Inquisitors. So we may get that satiated in other places. That is not Kenobi at first. Yeah. And I am under the impression that I believe is correct that when Kenobi finally gets to the Spice Den and he's rescuing Leia, he doesn't have a lightsaber out. You can't see it. He's not using it. He's being more of a solid, using the Force, being a solid snake, sneaking around, has the gonk droid on his head, like we said yesterday. And I'm kidding, but about that part, in case somebody doesn't get sarcasm. But yeah, so Leia doesn't know he's a Jedi. Leia apparently doesn't have any clue. She's just a 10-year-old princess who's been captured, is being saved by this guy and she's like a bit confused, and it's supposed to have some comedic beats based off of the fact that he seems to be the worst person to ever come and save you. And I know that he takes the public transport from Tatooine. They built that pretty much a set that really mirrored what they did with Book of Boba. So he may even go to the same set. It may even be the Mos Espa set for all I know. I'm not saying it is, but it from what I've heard, it's the same exact like ramp and everything. So he basically gets his stuff, gets in a little bit of a disguise going, and walks to the public, to the station, and takes the bus to another planet, basically. And so that right there tells me, I don't think it ends in some kind of lightsaber duel. I don't think you get into a big lightsaber fight and then go take the bus home. or whatever. You know, it doesn't seem like that makes sense to me.
8-mile trial. That's what they call that, right? And you got to eat mom's spaghetti on the way back to the
yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's not how that happens. So I think you're going to have. I think we're basically going to start with Kenobi in the desert, seeing how things are, seeing his flashbacks probably. I do know he has the post traumatic stress flashbacks with Anakin. I know that happens. Those were filmed, and I think it's like I think it's
that raw diet, because every time he cooks something, he smells Anakin. I mean, like, seriously though, like, wouldn't you, like, if you smelt your friend burning alive, you could never eat barbecue again? Like,
no, he leaves. He doesn't watch. He doesn't stick around for it.
Yeah.
He leaves them.
You'd smell it. I mean, I could smell. Think about it. I mean, you can smell it. Oh, he's screaming, and you're smelling it. You're just like, fuck. It's a long way back to the ship.
It just occurred to me too that, like, how Obi-Wan takes Anakin's legs in his hand in that fight. From the Inquisitor's point of view, that's the same shit the Jedi do. They don't really see themselves probably as any worse in certain ways, right? I mean, that's what they did to their big dark space daddy, Darth Vader. When you get down to
Obi-Wan's still doing it in A New Hope. You know what I mean? Just cutting limbs off, like.
Yeah, Walrus Man's like, hey, come on, dude. I'm just a drunk guy in a bar, man. You don't gotta go that far, dude. But
imagine if that really was the Scum and Villainy bar, and someone busted out a sword and just hacked someone's arm off. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, it's
a monster. Kevin Smith show and shit. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Hey, right? That's what Kevin would do. Hey!
I've done shows in that bar before too. It was pretty fun.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
But you wouldn't cut someone. I mean, someone cut your arm.
Oh, I would.
You'd be running out. I like how no one runs out. They're like, eh.
If you talk while I'm talking during a podcast, when I'm at that bar, I'll cut your fucking hand off, dude. I would do it. I'd be like, Walrus Man.
I won't talk.
No, not you.
We're gonna talk
you're on the podcast, dummy. I mean,
I am on the podcast.
Yeah,
dummy.
Here, figure out. Here, I'm putting the diagram back up. Figure out who you are.
I'm the jerk off nerdweed. Yeah,
but
microaggressions.
Yeah. There's a lot of microaggressions going on here.
6 years ago, that conversation.
And I don't remember if we answered the second part. Or does Kenobi not use his lightsaber until after the rescue? Yeah, so we're gonna go with after the rescue. Right now, we're gonna go with that being the most likely situation and scenario. And I'm not saying that this is the case. I haven't studied that poster. Is that Anakin's lightsaber on the poster?
Looks like it.
Yeah, because I was like, what if it's Nari's? Just throwing it out there. What if?
Cool bit.
Yeah, I gotta imagine if you pull out that lightsaber, everyone's gonna go, "There's the Jedi." Go get him.
Yeah.
Like.
So Ewan asked if I have an upcoming story planned for Anakin's flashbacks, or is there not enough info? So basically, what I put out there is what I know. Is that the flashbacks are Anakin being an asshole. They're kind of like problems together. And one thing I'll put on the show, the little exclusive part for the show here, if you will, is that this Nari kid in a weird way is sort of triggering for Kenobi. I think like this is another young kid is coming into Obi-Wan's life with these hopes of help and protection. He can't do it. He's failed Anakin. He's maybe failing Luke right now. He might fail Leia. He doesn't know yet. And so you have all of these things kind of weighing on this guy. And I think it's pretty fascinating. It's one of the reasons why I think we keep talking about Batman in a way. It kind of feels like Batman level of pressure. You know what I mean? Like where all these different things that are like in real life, they're like kind of like, you could probably survive that. But in terms of the comic bookiness of it, you're like, whoa, that's heavy, you know? Because it's pretty. I think it's gonna be pretty effective for like the comic book people, like myself. I'm not saying I'm above that, but I think that kind of like logic, you know. And but the story I've put out so far has been that you do see those flashbacks, and that it's just Anakin, you know, throwing his fits, and or the times when Obi-Wan failed him. I believe that they are Revenge of the Sith era Anakin, for the most part, as far as I know. Yeah, but if they do one where, you know, it looks like, you know, 12-year-old Jake Lloyd or something like that, I could see it happening, but I don't know if that's what happened, you know.
They're playing TMNT and Obi-Wan keeps stealing all the pizzas. You know, he like has full health and shit. And Anakin's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah.
He's like, "Whoa, we're
That's
just playing games, Anakin."
that's how I feel if you pick Donatello, because that's my guy. I play Donatello.
It's got great reach.
Joel just became a
WAP.
Joel became a YouTube channel member. Thank you, Joel, for becoming a YouTube channel member. Support that, Mr. Williamson. I get it, Joel. I get it. My sources say O'Shea Jackson Jr. is playing a character called NWA. NWA. Come on, he was in the NWA
okay.
film.
All right,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. Pretty good.
Okay,
pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. And
golf clap.
I almost said that movie was whitewashed, which sounds like a weird choice of words, but that movie was like pretty, you know, like they really kind of like did a good job of really like laying out how they were all just a bunch of music nerds, you know, at the end of the day, but also like sometimes like the severity of the situations and like what happened was kind of like stuff with Eazy-E. Thought it was a little bit like I think they could have went a little easier on Eazy-E. I think he deserved a little bit more personally, but yeah, but he's really good in that, and I thought he was pretty good in that film, and so I'm happy he's in Star Wars. I'm excited to see what he does with it, and I thought it might be Nari, but now I don't. Thanks to the chat today. Johannes became a channel member. Thank you, Johannes. I appreciate it, man. And welcome. Yes, thank you. You're just taking your first step into a much larger universe. Wait, I went kind of Palpatine. I don't know why I did that. I hate myself. I want to die. Okay. Anyways, yeah. But anyways, though, this idea of Nari, I think, is really important in the sense that we knew the premise of the show, and then we had knee-jerk reactions across the board. And no one had just simply thought, what if a character like Nari comes into the situation? What does that do to the whole landscape of this thing? Nobody. Yeah. And that's why you're not hired and I'm not hired, and people on Twitter aren't hired to write Star Wars. You know what I mean? That's why they're not Deborah Chow. You know what I mean? That's why they are who they are, and they are who they are.
Definitely, but yeah.
So.
I'm glad we're getting another Jedi though. That's one thing I wanted to see was another Jedi. So, and we're getting that. So I can't complain about that.
Yeah. Does Nari make it out alive? I will have more on that soon, I hope. And I, like all Jedi in this era, would not have high hopes for Nari. Just for the record, I don't think we're gonna. My guess, my bet is we're not gonna see Nari showing up to Luke's temple, being like, "Hey, I heard there's a new spot open now that Grogu's left. Did the Mando pay his tuition? Because I don't have any money, but I would totally love to take his spot.
Some lizards. I really need some lizards. Oh man." Darth Vader came into my room last night and said if I don't get a space lizard, I'm going to come to my house and melt my brain.
Well, now you let everybody know that Crispin Glover's in the series. That was supposed to be a secret.
Fucking spoiled. Oh, shit, I gave away our sources.
Crispin Glover.
I'm such a clowny clown.
You are a clowny clown. Listen to that song on your streaming services.
I gotta tell you, hold on.
Crispin Glover, genius. Yeah.
About this album that he made, right? Which has got the craziest fucking title. It's something about problem equals less than let it be solution, some fucking weird thing. He reads poetry from a book. It's some weird the readings of Oak Mott. And I gotta tell you, man, I like to put that on when I go to sleep. I'm addicted to his readings of. I think, he can really read shit. Like, he has a really unique way of speaking that, I could read any. I want him to read Swamp Thing or fucking anything. Like he's super good.
If you've ever done psychedelics, you'll do them and you'll think maybe you are, but you think you're having like this really profound like idea, and you're like, I need to write this down, and then you write it down, and then when you're not on the psychedelics, you go to read it to be like, well, what was that idea? I want to recover it, and it's clowny clown. that's exactly how that whole album feels.
It doesn't explain the music video, though, does it?
Can you explain the music video? I don't think so.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy.
He should have been the Riddler, at least in Nolan's trilogy.
He should have
brought him back.
He should have written Kenobi, is what I'm saying.
You got me there.
Oh man, yeah, but we need to get Crispin Glover into a Star Wars, and Danny Glover. Let's get both Crispin Glover and Danny Glover. Let's team them up.
We already got a Glover. Let's just get into the trilogy of Glovers.
Yeah. Maybe Crispin Glover could play Lando's mom, and Danny Glover could play Lando's
can we
dad.
Get Crispin Glover and Danny Glover and Donald Glover to play the game Glover. Remember the game Glover, right?
No, I don't.
Big hand. Crispin.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Glover. You're a big hand, no?
Yeah.
Guys,
Glover, the game for people getting too old for this shit.
It's because I'm a fucking nerd. It's a problem.
You just reminded me of the time it was raining and my parents were over my shit, and they're like, look, we're taking you to mean old stepmom, we're taking you to Blockbuster, rent something and don't get in trouble. That's what I was told. And I go in there and I'm like looking at all the games, nothing looks good. She's like, you got to get it now. We got to go. And I'm like, fine. And I rented the fucking 7-Up Spot game. Why did I do that, you guys? Why did I rent this? Why did I rent the 7-Up Spot game? What was I doing?
The real question is, if Lucas had signed a deal with Domino's, we could have. I was saying, if Lucas had signed a deal with Domino's,
we gotta go.
Yeah, it pressured me. What was that, Rob?
Yeah, she pressured.
If Luke, God damn it, Chris! Every time I talk,
you guys are both lagging, so you guys are having.
I know. I'm on the show all the time. I can be patient.
All right.
I was just saying, had Lucas signed a deal with Domino's instead of pizza, we could have had Battlenoids.
Yeah,
we could have had that.
Remember when the Ninja Turtles movie came out? Like I think they get Domino's, but then it was promoted by Pizza Hut. That blew my mind as a kid. I was like, what is going on?
Someone really got in trouble for that too, by the way.
Really?
But the Domino's guy in the Turtles movie is the voice of Michelangelo. He's talking to himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Little known fact, but it's true.
Little known fact. Joel says, "How about Corey Glover from Living Color?"
That's good.
Yeah, Disney casting needs to start getting creative, and I think we're onto something. Oh, and then Mark Hamilton comes in with "If the Glover Fits."
First Donald Glover comes, or is it? Yeah, Donnie Glover comes on. Then Donald Glover comes on, and then Crispin Glover shows up, and he says he's a Glover from another mother.
And then
that's the joke.
And then they do a radio drama of the glove of Darth Vader.
Yeah, it's all about the glove.
Mm-hmm.
You know how he chokes people out? Crispin, he's on board with that.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so if anybody wants any fun Star Wars homework, watch Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, knowing what we think we know now, and it's fun. It is fun. It kind of you start to see how these blocks interface and how sort of this show is talking to Revenge of the Sith and how this show is talking to A New Hope, and I think it's pretty clever. I think it's done pretty well. And one of the things that keeps striking me about doing this is when you watch A New Hope, and when we meet that Obi-Wan Kenobi, he seems like he's kind of chill. He's like, yeah, it's like I almost like my interpretation of the character now is almost like he is relieved he's made it to this day, like now, like my retconning of the performance, if you will, is he is relieved he's made it to this day. He's elated that he's not hiding anymore. He is bringing Luke out. They are doing the Jedi training, and he has made it to a place where Luke can begin to be able to defend himself. He's not just this like child who needs a knight as a babysitter anymore, and probably not really happy that Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru have been turned into Anakin Skywalker baked a little bit longer, but at the same time,
right?
Anakin's. But it's pretty, it's got to be like, for him, it's got to be like, okay, here we go, it's on now, and we're gonna have, as we know, we're gonna have Qui-Gon coming into the show, so he's gonna have this thing where everything is really bad for him. Everything is terrible for Obi-Wan. Yeah, like those first 10 years are brutal. You know what I mean? He's not really doing very much, but what he's doing is just difficult, hard, and suffering. And then the person he's suffering for is Luke and his protection. But then and he wants to have a human connection with the kid. He wants to bring the kid a toy. He wants to give the kid a present. He wants that. He wants something. He's like the father who the parent, the stepdad's like, nah, you can't see your son. It's almost like that kind of relationship in a way. And he's being kept at bay, and he wants to be in the boy's life, and he can't. So now when we
over under,
mm-hmm.
Does Obi-Wan discover that he can drink the little water pods? Right? Do they tie in the bowl of water? The desert water pod things, the black, whatever that shit is. It looks like water, but they say in the comic it's supposed to taste like shit at first, but it just looked like water to me. Yeah.
Well, and then they called it milk later on, so we know it's some sort of space jizz, not the music. Yeah, but. Yeah, Mark Hamilton says, I bet Deborah Chow has no Skittle Ranger chic bastardization of Tatooine. Yeah, I don't think so either. I can't say what it's going to look like when we get to, Space Reno, as we're calling that planet right now. Once they get there, who knows? But it's going to be, that's going to be more open. That's where if that planet sucks, and we just go, okay, fine, we don't ever want to go back there again. The impression I have of the planet is that it's like a little bit sort of like not Nal Hutta, like Ord Mantell. Is it Mandel or Mantell? I can't remember. Ord Mantell. I think it's sort of like that planet in a way from the Old Republic video game. But my sources, when they're making the show, the set just had like a number or whatever. It didn't have like, oh, this planet's called, Mustafap or something stupid like that. It didn't have anything like that. It just so they couldn't tell me.
We know what Anakin ain't doing.
Yeah, no, he's not doing that.
He's not Mustafapping.
No. No, he probably watches that same video though that Itchy did. With the singer from the holiday special, and then makes him gets him real ready to go, but he can't, and it just makes him madder.
Stirring, whipping.
No, not that one. I'm talking about the hot bird lady who's like singing songs,
Oh.
and Chewbacca's dad's like, you know, about it. That little weirdo. Chewbacca's dad.
Do you
fucked.
think Jace, do you think Ben finds Leia straight away in that planet, or do you think he goes through some trials and tribulations to find her?
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's super.
Goes there.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think the plot to expose him. I don't think that they wanted to make it hard. I think it's like it's fairly straightforward how he just goes to the place. The contact tells him where it is. I think it was like probably, and this is speculation on my part, but I'm thinking it's a big open secret. Like they're letting the word get around because they want to draw out this person who Bell Organa would hire or task with saving Leia, because if that person has any skeletons in their closet, if they're wanted by the Empire at all, they have dirt on Bell, and that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah,
is to and I'm not sure. I know that there was that book. I think Leia, what was it, Princess of Alderaan? How old is she in that book? Like 14? I can't remember how old. And that's the one where she's like in that program with Holdo and stuff. And we kind of get like, I think we kind of get the original version of Holdo, who's supposed to be more like Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter a bit in that novel, but they kind of just made her where she was like that when she was young now. She was supposed to be that way more in the film. That changed, I think, when Laura Dern came aboard. But anyways, we end up with like Leia, and you know, it's not really, I don't think, if I could recall right, the most action-packed book for certain reasons. But I wouldn't be surprised if we start to maybe have a story evolving in the bigger lore that after Leia is kidnapped in this instance, maybe they do start to train her to become a fighter to protect herself. And then that training is what ends up actually working out really well of her joining the rebellion and being a part of Bell Organa's resistance, you know? So that's
the turning point for her, yeah.
That could be. Yeah. I think it would be smart to make that one. And that other book where she's not supposed to be really doing that stuff much, and I think she's maybe a little bit older, obviously was written before this story was you know, solidified or whatever. So yeah, so it definitely opens up a progression for Princess Leia here. And cool. Yeah, I think so too. And like, and I have said this the last couple of days, but I love like what everything I'm hearing about Owen. It sounds like in the first episodes you get quite a bit of Owen. And we do get some of his perspective. It sounds like they shot a whole segment of the series through his perspective. In those opening
I'm
parts.
looking forward to that. Like,
yeah,
I'm being serious. Like that actor, you know, like he's so fucking good that's just the biggest shame he never had a chance to make his mark with his on that, because that was the first time I had come across him in Attack of the Clones. You know,
I guess I'm your stepbrother.
Man. Seriously, it was an empty theater, but I threw my empty cup. You know, I was like, this fucking shit. Like, you know? It was like, you know, that third time I saw that film, I just couldn't take it no more. You know, it's so dumb, dude.
I told you, dude. Like, you get Baru, you get that shit in lockdown, and then Hayden Christensen shows up at your house. You're like, fuck this guy, get out of here.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
He was.
But if you haven't seen him,
he was awesome in the Green Knight too.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if they haven't seen him in the Green Knight, he's super fucking good. Yeah.
You guys are gonna kiss. Like, you guys keep like saying the same thing, and you guys are gonna like drop a book and both go down and hit heads and then laugh and then.
Oh no, because when that trailer doesn't drop in March, he'll forever will be enemies.
March 10th. We're saying March 10th.
Rob,
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Rob, between March 1st and March 10th, we're getting the trailer, mate. I'll tell you that.
Beware the Ides of March. You know.
Yeah, I hope, mate. Definitely.
I hope. Yeah,
it's coming.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this: do you guys think when this trailer drops, do you think they will show Leia? Cat's out of the bag. Do you think they will? You think they will hide Leia? Do you think they will hide what is springing Kenobi off of Tatooine? And do you think that will be part of the marketing? We've usually seen first episodes be the majority of the marketing on these series, and I get it. You know, it makes sense. But yeah, I'm curious what chat thinks too, because I am very curious as to how they market this.
Yeah, I don't think we're seeing Leia in the first trailer. No, I don't think we're
You don't think
that.
so? Star Wars Santa says he does. Star Wars Santa thinks March 10th is a bit early for a May 25th release. And
if it comes on March 10th, Santa, I want to be on your show.
You're on the show now, Chris. What are you?
I know, Rob. I'm greedy.
He wants to be on Santa's show.
You know,
hey, you know what? If Chris wants to see other people, we're not committed. He can.
I'm the only guy who only appears on this show. You notice that?
Yeah.
Even Jason goes on other shows and drops spoilers. I'm the only one who's committed to this show.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. Just me and Bootsy. I don't see Bootsy hanging around nowhere. By the way, Bootsy sent me a photo of him and Eric the actor. He actually got to go to Johnny Fratto's place and meet Eric the actor. I just want to say, fucking legend, dude. Like, it's so good, man. So good.
Yeah, me and someone else were talking about Stern Show yesterday too. It was like, I didn't know you. It was like they're like, I didn't know you were a Stern fan. I'm like, oh yeah, big time. And he was like, yeah, I got to go to the studio and was like telling me like all about it. I won't share their story or anything like that, but they were going to come and chat and share it. We'll definitely share it on the show. But yeah, Star Wars Santa says that we'll probably see Reva, probably not Leia.
So I think,
all I fear, the only thing that with the trailer I don't want to see is I just don't want to see desert sand and Kenobi, and then that's it. You know what I mean?
Pretty much
like,
what we're going to see, though.
Don't. I'm telling you, after the Boba Fett thing with the desert, you can't just do that. They got to then go, you know what I mean, and cut to like some fight shit and fucking then end on Vader just like breathing or something. You got it. They need to come with the excitement and not the calm platitude like stoic shit. Like they need to. Like
my take is if with this trailer, the very easy sell is the Force theme with Obi-Wan doing some Obi-Wan stuff, and you can do that, you know, almost the Phantom Menace kind of layout to some extent, you know, every generation has a legend kind of thing with that little Force music playing and all that. But if they have balls of steel, they're gonna duel of the fates that fucking trailer, and that shit's gonna start.
Hell yeah!
And you're like Vader, and then you go to it. That's how you go. We are fucking here. Star Wars is metal. You know, that's how you do it.
Hey, what if? Okay, so you know, John Williams coming back for the theme, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I know he did the theme for Solo, but I can't fucking remember it. My hope is he just fucking finds a way to turn the Duel of the Fates into another kind of theme for Kenobi. You know what I mean? Like that's he riffs off that some way, you know?
I'm hoping for that too. I'm hoping for something completely new, but like I said, it would not surprise me if he is just writing a new suite for the Princess Leia song because she's young, and the Luke theme, the Force, you know, the Luke Skywalker music, the Force theme, all that jazz. I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the day, it's just like, hey, do you want to do this? And he's like, oh, I love writing new versions of these things. So when I perform them, you know, not that he performs that much anymore, but when he does like to like do that. And I think that's kind of an easy, fun exercise for him. And he knows what he would do. And so part of me thinks it could, that's it at bare minimum, but it would be rad if we had like Battle of the Heroes and Duel of the Fates put together into a new, like badass Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because
Battle of the Fates.
Battle of the Fates.
Heroes. Right.
Fates of the Heroes. Let's come on, Williams. But yeah, but that would be the way of handling this, because look, if we do see Vader,
it's time for Obi-Wan. Time for that's the new theme song. Time for Obi-Wan. Time for Obi-Wan. Time for Obi-Wan. Time for Obi-Wan.
Yeah. No, that goes. Who's this Nari? Who's this Nari? Who's this Nari kid? Who's this Nari kid? Who's this Nari kid? That's how the little part goes. And it's like everyone's like, we don't know. We're probably not that important. Probably just like kind of just mixes things up, most likely. because that's the thing about Nari though, that I wanted to make sure I said on the show is it might just be the kind of the character who mixes things up. You know what I'm saying? Comes in and shuffles the board a little bit, if you will. And then so don't expect Nari to don't expect this to be like Nari and Kenobi's adventures. I kind of don't think so. I don't really think so. So for the record. But Mark Hamilton says, I hope we see more than Mando Book of Boba Fett trailers. Let's put a fire up everybody's ads. But yeah, I'm with you. I think so. I think so too. I mean, I think that it would be really dumb to play this once again. Like, we Star Wars is, everybody loves Star Wars. We don't have to cater to anything. We could think outside the box. We didn't have to do a trailer if we don't want to. Like, that kind of thinking keeps biting Star Wars in the butt and keeps not setting expectations. And once again, that's why I like doing what I do. That's why I like spoilers. I think spoilers can set false expectations if the people report things irresponsibly. So that's why I try and say, like, I don't think Nari is the biggest deal, but I think Nari shuffles the board, like that kind of stuff. And so, but when you just set no expectations other than there's going to be this fight, because like right now, let's just pretend they said, you know what, Chris, we hate you. We're not going to release a Kenobi trailer. Subscribe to Disney Plus. And you'll get your fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi, you little bitch. Let's just pretend that they did that to you, okay? I'm sure they thought
like
of
James wrote that press release.
It's like James did it. Yeah, it's James became PR at Lucasfilm. But let's pretend that they did that. Well, what's going to happen? Episode 1 comes. Where's my Darth Vader Obi-Wan Kenobi rematch of the century? Next episode, where's my Obi-Wan Kenobi? And you do that for many episodes until it happens. And lots of good storytelling because expectations aren't realistically set or managed. And then, they want to throw it back. How the beer commercials say, please drink responsibly. They'll try to throw that back on the fans. Go, those fans should speculate responsibly. No, actually, that's never going to happen.
We need to make that video.
Fans, right?
Speculate and just show like a temper tantrum when you don't get the shit you want.
Yeah.
There's no Mephisto in Star Wars. There's no Mephisto in Star Wars. And you just table flip shit. Speculate, please, responsibly.
Yep. That is. I mean, it does really play off like very Ivory Tower like when you have the full picture of everything. And I've seen people who write Star Wars stuff or are podcasters or whatever who will get like tipped off like, here's what's going on, and then they literally become condescending to the fan base who doesn't know the things because they don't report it or they don't share it. And it's just like, oh, that's such an asshole move. You know what I mean? To go make people sound like they're stupid. Because they don't.
I said there was no chance for Crimson Dawn being in the series, and people are like, "Hey, man, you don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't. Neither do you. Like, you didn't fucking watch the whole thing. But my guess is as good as yours, and one of us is right, and one of us is wrong. And
in this scenario, in this scenario, it would be we know Crimson Dawn's in this other thing, and they're saying, "Oh, I bet there's no criminals." And we're like, "You fucking idiots!" Like because we know Crimson Dawn, like in that, yeah. But that's kind of like, but that happens on the I think it happens a bit on the Lucasfilm side too, and I think anybody could easily just put together who those people are usually, and
they contractually Iger said they would keep doing that. That was part of the deal.
It was Iger's idea.
Yeah, they have. That's why Pablo. We started that. That was something that I worked out with Pablo, and we just they have to keep doing that.
It's the eye of the Iger. It's the thrill of the fight. Yeah,
the eye of the Iger. It's a good one.
They but they will go and do that, and then when the product comes out and the product is wildly different, then they act like everybody is stupid for listening to people that aren't StarWars.com, for instance. But StarWars.com, I mean, they don't.
Oh, StarWars.com shut Jason right down. You know, I told you.
So,
But yeah,
it's back.
StarWars.com doesn't really get the opportunities, I don't think, to manage expectations. I'm sure if they had the opportunity, I'm going to guess the people that would love to. They would love to be writing articles about things and O'Shea Jackson's character revealed. I'm sure they would love to do something like that, but they don't do it. They don't give it to him. So at the end of the day, it's just everything is left out there in the wild, you know?
The one thing StarWars.com could be doing that working professionals are already doing is taking a page from the Vince Gilligan Breaking Bad podcast. They've been doing that since Breaking Bad all the way through season 2 Breaking Bad through Better Call Saul, where after they have one for every episode, you know, and they just bring in, it's an audio podcast, not video, so they can do audio, you know, and they just they bring in an editor, or the director, someone who worked on the episode. Sometimes it's an actor, it changes.
Yeah.
You know, and they talk about, they kind of run through the episode, what happened, you know, and what it was like making it. And like, they could just do that. Like, they could just do that. Like,
there were a few times when they attempted to do something like that. I have a memory of a few things just like this, and it turned out that they were all terrible at it. They were literally like the worst podcasters in the Star Wars community. I saw one of the things that they did, and I was just like, ugh. But they also, like, I think they have a weird place because number one is if they started doing a Star Wars podcast, I don't know if Star Wars podcasters would like that. You know what I'm saying, though? And then
but the official, no, you would love it if it was just for an episode of when they did something, a show. Okay,
I would love it if
Favreau, you know, he loves that dinner for five. He could Favreau would do a podcast where he just gets people on and talks. He could be him and Filoni, and if they could get someone else, great, and they could just talk about what it was like to make an episode, and we could stop speculating so fucking much. You know what I mean? That would actually help a lot more, and I think that would give so many podcasts something to talk about that go way deeper than just, you know, a fucking tweet or something that sometimes these people put out, you know, like, or what did Bryce tell us Howard like today? You know, like, I don't, that's, you know, it's unfortunate that they don't. You know?
Well, and at first too, like Favreau, like, remember like when Mando 1 was coming out, like he was like on Christmas tweeted out a picture of IG-11. Like there was stuff. There was at times some stuff, and nothing like that after.
Speaking of StarWars.com, do any of you guys remember in 2000 during the filming of Attack of the Clones, they used to post like a behind the scenes photo of the film?
George Lucas selects.
Yeah.
Was it called that?
Yeah, that was the exclusive part of that website was the George Lucas Select. It was just a random photo. And
it was like a blurry photo of like filming.
Well, for Attack of the Clones, it was free. By Revenge of the Sith, it became a paid subscription service called Hyperspace. And
because I remember Attack of the Clones, so in 2000 they were filming Attack of the Clones, and I remember like once a week or once a month I used to log on. I was 13 years old. My head would explode at a new behind the scenes photo of filming. So yeah, that was pretty cool back then.
Mark Hamilton says, "Isn't that what Disney Gallery is? They should do one for every episode they release, more behind the scenes stuff." Yeah, it's. I mean, it would be nice to have these things, you know, released before, because people do want early looks at things like that's. But they're under this impression that if they keep everything a big secret, then everybody goes, wow, and everything's amazing. And in truth, that's not what happens. In truth, they release all that once, or a bunch, you know, the movie comes out or the episode comes out, and then a few things went out. The peaks went out, and that's what you talk about, and everything else kind of falls off. And so it would allow for more of some of the esoteric elements to kind of, I don't know, permeate.
The problem with
the
Disney galleries, the problem with Disney gallery stuff is with the video, it's so overproduced and it's so calculated. And all I really want is just
Yeah.
an honest conversation. An honest conversation.
That's never going to happen with Disney, though. It's always going to be fucking like, hey, everybody, I'm the guy from that one TV show on Channel 7. Wow, the Star Cruiser looks great. Like, they're going to keep biting themselves in the ass
That's why that
forever.
shit sucks.
That's why their shit does suck. By the way, there was leaked footage of the Star Cruiser yesterday. And, yeah,
the hotel?
Yeah, it was the lady singing "Welcome to the New World" or whatever, and it just looked like it looked like you were paying $6,000 to go to a strip club without titties. That's what it looked like to me. So
you don't want to do that. No.
Yeah, I'm not. It did not change my mind one bit. In fact, it looked insufferable. I would rather go to medieval times dinner and tournament next to Knott's Berry Farm, and then cry myself to sleep in a hotel room by myself. But
as a kid, I've told this story before. I'll make it really quick. My cousin came over once, and I had this can. It was a canned enchiladas. Right, I got it from because we had food support right at the time, and the picture of these enchiladas looked so beautiful, and I thought that was what was going to be in the can because I was stupid. And so I held this off for when my cousin came over so we could enjoy the enchiladas together. Now, he's a normal kid who got real food. So when he saw that can, he was like, that's fucking horrible. I'm never eating that. And he made a peanut butter sandwich. But I was committed to this brilliant can of fucking enchiladas. And I remember opening it up and dumping them into a pot. And somehow thinking if I boiled them, I didn't understand about cooking. And he was just sitting there with this nice peanut butter sandwich. And I ate this shit and almost barfed. It made a mess. It just tasted disgusting. And at the end, I just dumped it and made a peanut butter sandwich. And I feel like Disney can learn a lot with the peanut butter sandwich thing, man. Not everything needs to be fucking this giant enchilada mess. Like a little simpler sometimes. People will appreciate it more. It's a little much what they're doing.
Yeah. I remember when I was really young having the government cheese and the powdered milk. Ooh, not good.
Oleo.
Not good.
They called it Oleo when I was like, it wasn't even butter. It was Oleo. I don't know what the fuck it was. Short or something.
Mark Hamilton's it's like a Disney princess song too. It's so cringe. Yeah, it just does not. It does not understand what music is or Star Wars music is, for that matter. It's really fucking weird. Like, it's so off the mark. It does not make any sense. So I think that might be what happens when maybe somebody who writes music for the theme park or something decides, whoa, it looks like your camera just pixelated on my side and it looked like you were in a shower or something. It looked like water went over the screen. I was like, what the fuck is
Neil?
Yeah, it looked crazy. But it was weird.
Awesome.
But But anyways, that's so bad. It's so fucking bad. And real life Star Wars experiences are way cooler than contrived trash. Saying that Star Wars Secret Cinema was supposed to be incredible. I'm sad I missed that. Yeah, that did sound like it was pretty fun. Yeah, I missed that too. But maybe Disney collectively is still kind of feeling Star Wars out and trying to find where the parameters are. You know what I mean? Like, how close to Disney can they get before the Star Wars fans revolt? That kind of thing, and how far away from Disney can they get with Star Wars until the Disney fans revolt? I think that is really a balance that they have to strike when making any of this stuff, because Disneyland has a lot of weirdos who go there. A lot of like cult like families who think that Disney stuff is very wholesome, and if anything isn't wholesome, then oh boy, are we in? You were in for it, Disney. Like that article that one guy wrote. Did you ever see that article that like adult man wrote about how he was mad that he saw a cast member with a tattoo? It was like, like, that's a real person, bud.
Is that a parody, or was he being serious?
It should have been a parody. He became
serious?
Yeah, he was being serious. He was a parody of a human. But
little known fact though, when I when I basically bought half of Disney when they sold Star Wars to me, I found out that Walt actually had a Lady and the Tramp stamp tattooed on the back of his. That's true. Yeah, they have photo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was like, he also told Bob Iger, he's like, I'll sell you Star Wars, but we have to do that spaghetti scene together. We got to share that one noodle. We got to do that.
That's what me and Rob were doing before. Me and Rob were.
Do I get to pick marinara or pesto?
A couple of tramps. That's all I know. A couple of tramps. All right. Well, I think we're going to call this one a show today. I think we hit on the topic and its parameters and all that. So up front, thanks to everyone who's a Patreon supporter. Thanks to everyone who's a channel member supporter. Thanks to everyone who reads MakingStarWars.net. And thanks to everyone.
Thanks to everyone who let the video go all the way to the end.
Play all the way to this point.
All right.
And
all the way to the end.
Yeah, and thanks to anyone who doesn't let lies about me permeate. I appreciate that. I've seen a couple of defenders here and there, and then I appreciate it because it is bullshit. And I do appreciate the support because I can't do it myself. You know, I just can't. And we'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Chris, you're always welcome to join us whenever you're free, dude. We always love having you. And before we go, one last thing. Thomas says, "Is the kid Luke going to remind us of young Anakin from Episode 1? That could also resonate with Obi." He may. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good question. I do know he's mostly, like I said, like in the periphery. Like I don't even know if he has lines that are true lines. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm under the impression he doesn't. He's mostly like, you know, maybe he's talking to his aunt in the background kind of stuff.
So Leia's got a bigger role than Luke.
Leia has lines and everything and an actual role. And as far as I know, Luke is more of a background player in this. So yeah, as he should be, because he can't do anything. He has to not have seen any action for the most part. He's
no, that's for certain.
Yeah, I got it. that old virgin, that old sister kissing virgin.
Fixer. You know why he's called Fixer? Because the fix was in. He made certain Luke didn't get fucking nothing.
I mean,
between
Fixer and Biggs giving mustache rides, nobody was looking to Wormy. Nobody thought Wormy was laying down any lightsaber. Let's be honest with you. Let's be honest with you guys right now about that. But anyways, yeah. So we'll be back tomorrow, and thanks everyone for supporting the show. And I hope you enjoyed
the video.
Bye.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
Ending the stream.
The theme song has become iconic, in my opinion.